What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be talking about trading plan. First of all, this request was made from students, but I also realized that a lot of people don't have the trade plan. Most of you guys just get into trades, like wake up in the morning, just go and do analysis, and really don't really have a plan. But I'm telling you right now that hey, you need to have a trading plan because a trade plan is something that is going to guide you through your trades and it's going to save you from a lot of emotional decisions, right? So yeah, today we're going to talk about trade plan, something a little bit different, right? So what is the first thing you want to include on your trading plan? The first thing you want to, most of you guys think maybe you want to have a routine where in the morning, like whatever routine you want to do, but that shouldn't matter. Whatever your routine is, whether it's you wake up in the morning and go to work or whatever, your routine can work no matter the routine you have. The first thing that you need to um get right in the trading plan is strategy, right? This is trading strategy. Now, why do I say strategy first? I say strategy first because most of you guys mix up things, right? You're gonna see a trader who trades ICC. Good. I trade ICC too. You're gonna find someone that trades ICC, and if you're gonna see them constantly trying to mix ICC with other block. That shit don't even make sense. I don't know why people do that, but that shit doesn't make sense. So you don't want to trade ICC and be mixing with other block or trade other block and then mixing with ICC. No, you don't want to do that. If you want to trade, you gotta pick a strategy. Let me add it by the side because it's important. So I would say pick one, pick a side, right? So when you find a trading strategy, you gotta pick a side. You gotta stay with that system. You don't wanna get that system and then constantly try to mix it with another system, try to make it the most perfect entries. No, you want to pick a system and stick to that system. Don't try to contradict it with other things, right? It's also like not doing just pick a system. Don't try to mix two things together. Try to get whatever you want to get. Just pick a system, pick a side, because it's gonna help you a lot while you're trading. That's the first thing. Now the second trading plan I would say is you want to have a trading want to have a session trade. I would say trade during session, right? So if you are a trader who trades London session, you want to wait for London session to come for you to trade. If you're a trader that trades New York, you want to wait New York for you to trade. I'm not saying you can see good trades outside of session. I'm just saying that if you trade during session, you're going to avoid a lot of BS that happens in the market, a lot of ranges that happens in the market when session is not open, right? So you really want to trade during session because if you don't trade during session, um it's it's gonna be a bit difficult for you to be able to relate. Let me show you this. There's this tool that I used to turn on. This tool shows you this should basically just shows you what happens in during New York. So the blue zone is New York and the white zone is just London session and JPY our session. Gold moves mostly during New York. So look at this, right? Blue line session. Boom. Price moves. White line, price ranges. Blue line, price moves a bit. Okay, white line, this time price moved. Blue line, boom, right? Makes a move. White line makes a little bit of move. Blue line makes some moves as well. White line ranges all around, up and down, no direction, right? Blue line, boom, price moves. White line is ranging. So in the blue line is during New York session, and the white line is out of session. So if you look, you're gonna see that not all the time, but majority of the time during in the blue line, in the blue zone, price moves. which shows you that hey, price moves during session. If you go to another pair and go to each session, it's gonna be the same thing. Maybe let's go to Nasdaq during New York, right? Session, blue line, boom, price moves. Session, when you use the beat out session, just keeps moving in the same zone. Blue line, boom, price moves. White line ranges. Blue line, boom, price moves. So price moves a lot during session. That's why you want to trade during session, right? So you want to pick a session that you trade. You don't want to just jump around from session to session and all that. You want to pick a session that you trade because when you pick a session that you're gonna trade, that is gonna help you catch the best moves quickly as well, right? So you need to pick a session so that you can be able to avoid some sort of things that the market does that you don't want to get involved with. So yeah, pick a session. So the first thing is trading strategy. You gotta pick a side. Second one is trade during session. Whatever session you trade, you gotta trade during that session, right? And how do you even pick a session to trade? The session you're trading on has to be the session where you are not at work. You don't want to be trading on a session where you are at work. So if you work 9 a.m. to, if you work maybe 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., you don't want to be trading during that work hours because you're just one person. Your brain is programmed to do one thing. Yeah, you can multitask, but like I don't know how to explain it. But when you're working, maybe I won't explain this the best way. But when you're working, your brain is like is in the work mode. And when it's in the work mode, you don't want to trade because it can't really process all the information that the chart is showing at that moment because it is in the work mode. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel. That's how it does for me. So when you're in the work mode, you don't want to be trying to trade. You want to trade when you are not working. So whatever session you want to pick has to be a session where you know you're not working, right? So that is, of course, if you don't have a job, of course you can trade anytime. But if you have a job, you don't want to trade while you're working. So yeah, the second one is trade during session. The third one I'm gonna say is the third one I'm gonna say pick a few pair. Let's see, trade trade a few pair, right? So you don't want to just most traders these days they trade a lot of pairs, man. I don't know. I don't know why, but they trade so many pairs, and it's bad because different pairs move different ways. The way gold moves is not the way Euro USD moves, and the way Euro USD moves is not the way Nasdaq moves. Let me give you this example. Let's say you want to go to from point A. Let me type it down here. So this is point A. So this is point A, and this is point B. So let's say point A is New York, and point B is let's say Chicago or whatever. For you to get from point A to point B, you have different means of movement. You can go by air, right? Where is the arrow? You can go by air. You can also go by sea, right? You can fly to New York through airplane. You can also go by road. You can also go by road, right? And you can also go by sea, maybe a ship or something, right? But these three means of transportation to the same direction, yeah, planes can take you from point A to point B. Car can take you from point A to point B. Ship can take you from point A to point B. But it is not the same thing that affects these three means of transportation. Yeah, they can get to the same location, but they are not being affected by the same things. So Now, you as a passenger, when you come to go from point A to point B, and they give you your driver, and they tell you that driver A can drive a car, he can fly a plane, and he can fly a ship as well. He can ride a ship as well. But driver B only rides airplane, or only rides cars, or only rides um um ships. You're going to want to go with the driver B because he's more specialized in one field, because you want to be safe. You don't want someone that does everything. You want someone that is specialized on one particular field. That's the same thing with trading. You don't want to trade all pairs. You want to pick a few pairs because these pairs are affected by different things. So you want to kind of understand the movement and just have a feel of how it goes and really understand each pair deeply. Yeah, I would say deeply. So with that being said, you want to trade a few pairs because the fewer pairs you trade and the fewer trades you take, more money you're gonna make. So you don't want to trade all all pairs just because you want to make money or something. You want to just take a few pairs. That's the best. So yeah, trade a few pairs. And then the next one I would say is the first one is a trading strategy. Second one is trading plan. I'll trade green session. Third plan one is trade a few pairs. I'll say the fourth one is risk, right? Risk. Most traders these days they get greedy a lot. Sometimes I'm also a victim of that, but we get greedy a lot because it's money. You always want more money. Like money is never enough basically. So if you make this money, you're really gonna want more. But you have to think of trading first as a way that you want to protect your capital. Just take it as a business. When when you do a business, the first thing you're always trying to protect is your business capital. And that is the same thing with trading. The first thing you want to protect is your capital in trading. Because as long as you have capital, as long as you have equity, you can always take another trade tomorrow. But the moment you blow your account, that's it. You're gonna fund again, right? So the first thing you want to always look out for is protecting your capital, because that is going to give you that freedom. I would say freedom, or should I say that is going to give you that possibility. There's always going to be another chance for another trade tomorrow, right? There's always going to be another chance for another trade tomorrow. So you want to protect your today's capital so that you can be able to take tomorrow's trades. You don't want to blow your capital all up on today, right? The next one that I would say is you got to have a cap, trade cap per week. You want to have the trade cap. Now, as a trader, you want to have a plan where you are able to say, I'm only gonna take this number of trades in a week. And when you hit that number of trades, you're just gonna call it a week. Whether it's been a profitable week or it hasn't been so profitable for the week. But you gotta call it a week after you take that number of trades. For me personally, I'm starting to do 1 to 3 trades a week. I'm starting to do 1 to 3 trades a week right now, which is good for me. I think for you, you can find yours, but for me, I do 1 to 3. You can do 1 to 4 or whatever, but you want to have a cap of how many trades that you're taking per week, because the less trades you're going to take every week, the more you are really going to be patient and wait for the setup, because you know in your mind that hey, if I take this trade and it doesn't play out, I'm done for the week. So that is gonna make you be patient, be calm, and just wait for the trade to really have all the criteria you need for you to be able to be in the trade. right? You don't want to just yeah, you want to have a criteria you need for you to be able to be in the trade, right? And the last trading plan I'll say is the last and also probably the most important is you gotta journal everything, bro. Like you gotta journal everything, bro. It's the tough part of trading. Most people try to go for automated journals. I wouldn't advise you going for paid journals because maybe you can go for it. Maybe if you're the prop firm, you can go for paid journal. I just feel I need to go and type my own journal in a manual. I use a manual journal. I type in my own trades. I feel like the more you type it, there's a different feel to it, right? So, but the point I'm trying to make is that you want to journal everything. You want to always have something that you go back to at the end of every week to look at it and be like, here's where I made the mistake. Here's where I could have done better. And here's how I can progress on the new week. So you want to have a trade journal. So this I've marked out here right now is my trade plan. I would say the most important trade plans that I know you as a trader need to have. This is my top. So if you have this in check, you have your trade strategy, pick a side. You don't trade any all pairs. You trade during session. You trade a few pair. You protect your capital always. You risk properly. Whether it's 1% risk or 2% or 5%, always just protect your capital, right? So because you know that the bigger account size you get, the less money you're probably gonna risk. So you gotta treat your small account as if it's a big account. So always protect your capital. And then trade cap per week. You wanna have a cap number of trades you are taking every week. For me, it's 1 to 3, and I'll be done. So you gotta find yours. And you gotta stick to it too. And then the last one, you wanna journal everything, bro. Journal everything, journal how you felt during the trade, journal what the trade outcome is like, journal the before and the after, save pictures, something you can come back to. Yeah, that's like my trade plan that I'll give you guys today, and I hope this works out for you guys. Right now, I'm I'm, I'm holding Euro USD trade. We entered it right here. We entered right here. Had our stops here. I'm kind of targeting this low and potentially this low. So we're currently in the trade. There's running profits. I also called trade out on the Telegram group for free. So if you want to catch my trades for free of charge, I don't charge my trades. I just call it out always. If you want to catch trades like this for free, the link to my Telegram is going to be in the bio. See you there. Bye.